Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, November 10, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at this post that was made here on our Twitter page today. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we highlighted the fact that this morning Jamaica was rocked by an earthquake that struck right there on the southern coastline of Cuba. According to this post, the European Mediterranean Seismological Center (EMSC) has reported a moderate 6.0 earthquake at 10:50 a.m. 58 kilometers southwest of Bayamo, Cuba. Remember to drop cover and hold on in case another one happens. Here, they can happen at any time. And we highlighted the epicenter right there just to the north of Jamaica. We can see Jamaica right here. So it struck right where we see that star. And we know that when it comes to 6.0 earthquakes, those are basically somewhere along the lines of close to moderate and strong strength. Strong earthquakes are anywhere from 6.0 to 6.9, and it was more so along the lines of the border of 6. So it was more so 5.9, and then we rounded it off to 6. So that explains the bit of confusion with the moderate and strong, but it was definitely somewhere around there. And then, just like clockwork, 1 hour later, so look at this. The time that the first one struck was 10:50 a.m. The second one, yes, there was another one, struck at 11:49, so almost one exact hour, 59 minutes to be exact. We got another earthquake, and this was a strong 6.8 earthquake. So that was almost a major earthquake right there. We know major earthquakes are anywhere from 7.0 to 7.9. So this was definitely a strong one, a definite strong one for sure. Struck basically the same spot according to the United States Geological Survey. They stated that it struck 40 kilometers south of Bartolome Maso, Cuba. Right there, and trust me, we all felt it from Jamaica all across Cuba. As a matter of fact, it was even felt as far as Florida. And if we look at exactly what happened, we posted something here that highlighted exactly what took place, because many people think that, oh, we can't have a bigger earthquake after an earthquake has already taken place. It's usually aftershocks. Nope, that's just a misconception. It says here, two earthquakes near Cuba shook Jamaica today. The first at 10:50 a.m. was a moderate 5.9 earthquake. The second at 11:49 a.m. was a stronger main shock of 6.8. These sequences can happen without warning, and aftershocks or even a larger main shock are still possible. Stay alert. And we highlighted this graphic right here, basically a line graph or a bar graph showing the magnitude and showing the time. So we can see the timeline highlighting what we call four shocks. Four shocks take place before the main shock, like what we had today, the 10:50 a.m. one. We thought that it was just a big one and that's it, and that would have been followed by some smaller aftershocks, but nope. We got a main shock 1 hour later, and then immediately after that, throughout the day, we definitely got some aftershocks. As a matter of fact, let's see what the USGS is showing. Yes, we can definitely see the numerous aftershocks after. So we got this one, the 5.9, the 6.8, and then some other smaller ones that we didn't hear about. We're not going to be hearing about those because those were definitely smaller. 4.0 right here. I'm guessing the other one 4.2. So those are light earthquakes. So we wouldn't have been feeling those in Jamaica. Those are likely felt more than likely closer to where it took place in Cuba. And hopefully, if we get another one, you know the drill. Please ensure that you try your very best to drop, cover, and hold on as best as you possibly can. I know that it can very well be something that's of a shocker when earthquakes occur. People don't know what to do. People start panicking. People start running. But the best thing that you can do is to drop cover and hold on. And I know many persons are saying, but boy, drop cover and hold on in a whole concrete building with a concrete roof, boy. It's the best thing that we can do, because what we're basically trying to do is to prevent our head from being, trampled on by falling debris. So basically, the best thing that we can do, get under a sturdy ear, a table, a desk, and hold on to the legs of that table or desk in general. Basically, that's the best thing that we can do. Boy, we don't want to get experience any one of those 6.8 or 7, because there's even footage of damage that came out. Let us take a look here. First of all, one here from Raw News. First, highlighting that light shake on upper floors of Miami buildings in Florida following strong 6.8 earthquake in southern Cuba. And we see the chandelier right here moving. Just to show you, this is one of the tall buildings in Miami, Florida, the skyscraper. And it was felt as far as Florida. I mean, look how far Florida is from Cuba. Just for reference, we have Jamaica right here. We have where the earthquake struck right here, where we have this dot. And this up here, right up here, is where we have Florida. So look how far Florida is, and they actually felt it from that distance. That's crazy. And we can also see some more footage here of damage in Cuba. We know Cuba has a lot of historic or old buildings, not to mention old vehicles. WFLA News here highlighting an earthquake shook eastern Cuba after weeks of hurricanes and blackouts that have left many on the island reeling. And we can see the damage. Look at the image right here showing what took place. Basically, some falling debris causing this, or basically buildings that are so old that they couldn't withstand the shaking in general. This is what we're talking about. Sometimes it's best to stay put. Imagine running out of this building during this earthquake and then all of this falling on top of you. This is why it's best to stay put during an earthquake. Then immediately after the earthquake has, stopped, you try your very best to get out of the building. Here's another some footage from Zimbo on underscore factual. I usually don't like to show footage like this because we really don't know what's actually true, if it is actually fake videos, because trust me, there are people out there who love to waste people's time, show videos of things that happened years ago at somewhere else and then claim that it's maybe possibly Cuba. But this seems to be factual in a way. They say Cuba has been shaken by two powerful earthquakes an hour apart with magnitudes 5.9 and 6.8. It was felt throughout the Caribbean island nation. People quickly took to the streets because the ground moved very strongly, said one resident. No deaths had been immediately reported. And we can definitely see right here what took place in this video, highlighting the violent shaking that took place in this person's house or apartment. You can even see the shaking here, and one person heading outside with their dog. Another one right here showing the footage. Them basically standing in the doorway. Another one right here looks like some kind of office building. And we can see two men right here and the fan shaking. Boy, I wouldn't want to be under that fan during that time, because who knows what could happen. Look at the shaking from outside. Incredible. Ridiculous. Look at this one. The office chair shaking. We even have some more footage right here from Sandra Yesel Ramirez. Look at the collapsed houses or buildings. My goodness. This is what earthquakes do, especially to infrastructure that is too old or is damaged or is not up to code. Look at all of the debris on the side of the road in this footage right here from Volcaholic. Another one right here from Krish Nakamal 077, highlighting similar videos of the damage. And just as stated, he was a lot of very vintage or old cars, but look at the damage. Just as expected, old buildings, they're definitely going to be crumbling for sure. Another one here showing something similar to what was just posted. Now we definitely have some confirmation of the earthquake today from some of our subscribers on our YouTube page. Anthony Garvey 4952 stating Ocho Rios here. I've only felt this second one. Judy Richards 9273 was felt in Manchester. Tia 8769 felt the second one only. I felt the first one only. I felt my chair shudder, and then I checked to see if it was actually an earthquake. And then what was I doing? I don't remember what I was doing, but my brother ran and came to me and told me that, oh, there was another earthquake. He felt it in his bedroom. Here's another one. Monica Anderson 7261. I'm in 4 paths. Clarendon, the second one was stronger. Oh dear. No, I didn't. We even have some comments here from some of our followers on our Facebook page. Maria Wynn stating, me feel this year one, long and strong. Emily Clark, Lord have mercy on us even though we have sin. Verona Burke, heavy bad in Ocho Rios. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. I am K Stew stating Portmore St. Catherine, it was strong. Nelia Reeves stating yup, much stronger. Trelawney, J._low. Clarendon did not feel the first one, but the second one shake the house. Portland _mountain _paradise. Portland, the second one, long and strong. Even on our Twitter page, we had the comments coming in. Rojan Scarlet, heavy plate movements today, that's for sure. SS23 felt in Constant Spring, second one, not as intense but longer. Lois Clark stating, I felt two about a minute apart in Runaway Bay after 11 a.m. Listen, I wasn't dropping my breakfast to cover and hold. Mark stating, my nephew felt it all the way in Kingston. Alright, so hopefully we don't get any more earthquakes for the rest of the year. As a matter of fact, for the rest of our generation, our kids' generation, my goodness, can't take the shaking. Earthquakes are just a different thing in general. Well, let us move on, shall we? Alright, so let us take a look at the Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity based on data from 1944 to 2020. So we should be somewhere right in here, considering that it is November 10. We should be somewhere right in here, falling off of the mountain, if you will, in terms of activity for the hurricane season. Remember, I always state at the beginning of the videos that the peak months of hurricane season are between August and October. That's where we see the most activity, then we start to taper off. But clearly we can see some activity happen in November. We see a little rise in the hill right there before all is said and done and we head into December. So we'll see exactly what unfolds if we actually get some more tropical storms or hurricanes. It looks like that, considering what the Hurricane Center has just highlighted. I'll be showing that to you shortly, but first, let us take a look at the tropical and subtropical cyclone points of origin and shocks based on data from 1851 to 2023. And we're going to be looking at where we've had all of these systems form from November 11 to November 20. Considering that today is November 10, we're moving on to November 11 tomorrow, so it's only right to show this. We can see that November 11 to November 20, 1851 to 2023, has definitely brought us some systems. Look at all of these yellow dots to the south of Jamaica. We see it right here. We even see some of them. Well, most of them look to be going more westward or towards the northwest, hopefully. That's what happened regarding the system that the Hurricane Center has highlighted. Yes, they've highlighted something. Let me give you a sneak peek. It's right there. Across the Western Caribbean, even portion of Jamaica highlighted. My goodness. Boy, we're in for something else. Quite a festive or very active Atlantic hurricane season. We see some yellow dots right here to the north of Colombia. We see a lot of yellow dots, as a matter of fact, to the north of the Caribbean and to the north of the main development region. As a matter of fact, there is even one right here to the west of the Windward Island. So we can definitely have some amount of systems as we've had them based on climatology right here in the past. And we know the typical tracks for November in general, sending all of these systems to the north. But we know if we have a ridge of high pressure to the north, these systems can definitely go more west than northward for sure. And we know that we don't have a shortage of any warm sea surface temperatures. This is as of November 9. It's November 10 now, so this just came out yesterday, highlighting the very warm sea surface temperatures of the Atlantic. Look at the oranges, look at the yellows. Anything from 1 all the way up to what, 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, even 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures in some spots. And we still see the La Nina right here trying to come on nicely. Not sure if it's La Nina yet, but last I checked it was neutral, and we've been in a neutral condition, like pattern since we've had Beryl, and we see what the hurricane season has been dishing out for us. So who knows, maybe more activity to come. And it's not only about how warm the waters are at the surface or at the skin, but it's about how warm the waters are the deeper we go into the ocean. This map right here is showing the ocean heat content. That's the tropical cyclone heat potential. Basically, how warm the waters are the deeper we go into the ocean. And look at the waters in and around Jamaica, to the south of Haiti, to the south of Jamaica. Look at the reds, anywhere from the yellows all the way up into dark reds, represent where if we have a system churning up the ocean, it's just going to be churning up even more warm water to evaporate and then possibly strengthening in general. So there's no shortage of warm water or ocean heat content. These systems can definitely still thrive, and there isn't much wind shear, especially across the Caribbean, to tear these tops of these thunderstorms off. More of the wind shear is to the north, across the Gulf of Mexico and the United States. So the Caribbean is still ripe for development as we wrap up the hurricane season in general. If we take a look here at this latest update from the U.S. National Hurricane Center, they're showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that we now have a post-tropical cyclone Raphael. Definitely died out. For sure, won't even be talking about that system anymore. And we have a brand new area highlighted across the Western Caribbean, and it even encompasses portions of Jamaica. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic as the sun is starting to go down, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. We can see the remnants of Tropical Storm Raphael here. Don't look quite formidable as it did, well, last week. And we can see not much activity taking place across the area highlighted by the Hurricane Center right now. But I'm pretty sure that this that we see across the central eastern Caribbean to the south of the Dominican Republic, to the south of Puerto Rico, that has a lot to do with what is to come. I mean, look at this. We've been talking about this all day. It's basically a tropical wave. But look at the deep convection. As a matter of fact, let me find the visible, because the visible is looking very impressive. If we take a closer look, if you zoom in, you can basically see a kind of low level flow coming in like this, which only begs the question, what's happening underneath all of this deep convection? Is there a center of circulation trying to formulate? Is something going on that the hurricane center is not really seeing? As of right now, they don't have anything highlighted, but more than likely, this is going to be the era that's going to be pushing into the Western Caribbean and then possibly developing over the next 7 days. But who knows, maybe it might even jump the gun and develop before that, because trust me, this is looking like a very impressive tropical wave. Lots of deep convection. Look at the oranges, look at the reds. Definitely some flooding took place across the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico today for sure, and there could be a lot more of that tonight into tomorrow. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the Hurricane Center has stated in their latest update about this system. First of all, they've said, let me read it. A broad area of low pressure will likely form over the southwestern Caribbean Sea in a few days. Some slow development is possible after that time while the system drifts westward. And we see that they've given the system a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours, that's the next 2 days. and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we're going to be looking at what both the Euro and the GFS models are showing. We're going to be looking at the 12Z and the 18Z GFS for sure. We're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours, so keep your eyes peeled on the timestamp at the top. We're looking for what we see on the key on the right. The greens all the way up into the yellows that represent a lot of moisture, anywhere from 1 all the way up to 8 inches of rainfall. Focus your attention right here across the Caribbean. We're done with Raphael now. Don't want to see that system at all. Alright, so moving on, going out in time as we head into Monday. 18th on Monday, 1 p.m. We see some of this green that represents the moisture starting to come into portions of Jamaica, but we still have a lot of it across Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti for sure. Continuing out in time as we head into Tuesday, we still see a lot of moisture. Some of it, well, to the east of us, some of it to the south of us, some of it on land as we progress through the day on Tuesday. So we see that Monday and Tuesday we have rainfall to get. Heading into Wednesday now, what do we see? Lots of moisture to the south of Jamaica. 9Z on Wednesday is actually 4 a.m. Look at it, some of this moisture starting to come onshore. 18Z on Wednesday is actually 1 p.m. So we're going to get rainfall on Wednesday as well, especially during the afternoon. We've been highlighting this. As we head into Thursday, we see what's taking place. Most of the moisture is right there to the south and west of Jamaica, but we're still getting in on rainfall. 12Z is 7 a.m. on Thursday. We still have a lot of rainfall in and around Jamaica in general. As we head into Friday, we still have a lot of rainfall in and around Jamaica. So apparently when this tropical wave gets to the Western Caribbean, it's going to be lingering. It's not going to be quickly moving off towards the west, crash into Central America. Basically, the broad area of low pressure, that trough of low pressure, is going to be making all of that moisture spin in general in the area. So we're going to be getting a lot of moisture for sure. I mean, look at Friday into Saturday. We still have a lot more rainfall to get. And we're going to be stopping it right there at the next 168 hours. That's 12Z on Sunday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Sunday, November 17th. And we still have a lot of moisture across the Caribbean, around Jamaica. To the southwest of us, we see some isobars hugging the coast of Nicaragua. Maybe an area of low pressure trying to form. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Let us take a look at what the GFS, the 12Z GFS, is showing as well. So first of all, look at the dark greens, look at the yellows, oranges, and reds to show that they've been getting in on some heavy weather today across the Dominican Republic associated with that tropical wave. And as we continue into Monday, they still have a lot of that to get. Look at that. Some of this definitely making it into Jamaica, just like what the Euro was showing. And we see what's taking place. Tuesday into Wednesday, we still see a lot of moisture and slowly pushing its way into Jamaica for sure. Thursday, well, we see that broad area now, that huge isobar associated with a broad area spin to the south and west of us for sure. Look at this, lots of moisture, even some yellows, some oranges, reds, and pinks in there closer to Nicaragua. As we continue to go out in time, look at what's festering to the south of Jamaica, man. That's a lot of greens, lots of yellows, oranges, red. And we're going to be stopping it right there. That's the 12Z GFS. Let us see what the 18Z GFS is showing. Basically, no change. Monday, rainfall. Tuesday, we see the rainfall as well. 0Z on Wednesday, it's actually 7 p.m. on Tuesday. We see the greens that represent rainfall in and around Jamaica. 18Z on Wednesday, it's 1 p.m. on Wednesday, greens. Rainfall in and around Jamaica. Thursday, 18Z, 1 p.m. Rainfall in and around Jamaica. Friday, let's go to 18Z, 1 p.m. Rainfall in and around Jamaica, especially to the south of us. With that broad area of low pressure starting to get its act together. And then we see what's taking place. Look at the deep convection as we head into Saturday. This is 0Z on Sunday, which is actually 7 p.m. on Saturday. Look at the broad spin. Look at the greens, the dark greens represent anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rainfall into the yellows, oranges, and reds. That represents all the way up to 12 inches of rainfall. That is just ridiculous. And then look at what, well, let's stop it right there. Don't even go out in time. We're going to stop it right there. That's the end of 268 hours. This is Sunday, November 17. Let's not go any further. So we see the differences. We see the similarities. Clearly, what we need to take away from this is that there's going to be a lot of moisture across the Caribbean, the Central and Western Caribbean, including Jamaica for sure. The Euro has more of an agreement that yes, we're gonna have the moisture, but most of it should be, or the airflow pressure should try to formulate closer to Central America. The GFS showing something similar with the 12Z GFS showing something similar to the Euro, but the 18Z GFS has the area of low pressure closer to the southeastern portions of Jamaica, or to the southeast of Jamaica for sure. Boy, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what unfolds. My bet is on the Euro because remember how wrong the GFS was, especially with Raphael. So let's work with what the Euro is showing, more of a system that's going to bring a lot of moisture and more so hug the coast of Nicaragua than anything else. And we know the next name on the list is Sarah. And regardless of development, even if we don't get Sarah to form, we're going to be having a lot of rainfall. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up to Sunday, November 17. We're going out to the next 7 days. And we see the dark reds that represents 2 inches of rainfall that we can see by the key on the right. We see the purples that represents 3 inches of rainfall. We see the pinks that represents 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. We see the salmon color 6 to 7. We see the light shades of blues to dark shades of blues that represents 10 all the way up to 20 inches of rainfall in some spot. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this, especially across the Western Caribbean right here. Let's highlight stretching all the way from southern Belize into Guatemala, Honduras, section of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, all the way across Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, getting in on some of the action. We also see a lot of rainfall to come for a portion of the Windward Islands as well as northeastern South America. Let us see if we're seeing consensus with the Euro. This is the GFS. The Euro is showing something similar for sure. Lots of rainfall coming. And we know that when both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus or in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are higher. So we definitely have to stay alert. We're still in hurricane season. We're still in the rainy season until the end of November for sure. So we definitely have to stay tuned. And we know a lot of these countries, a lot of these islands are already saturated, especially Jamaica, with all of the rainfall that took place. So flooding and landslides definitely going to be easy to take place. So we all have to be on the alert. Can't afford to be losing our life in 2024 at all. We need to live to see 2025 for sure. And even if we take a closer look at the rainfall in and around Jamaica within the next 7 days, we see how it has changed. Yesterday we saw more greens and yellows that represent anywhere from 15 to maybe 30 millimeters of rainfall. Now we're starting to get in on the pinks and the reds that represents 80 to 100 millimeters of rainfall on both the Euro and the GFS model. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what unfolds at the end of the next 7 days. By next week Sunday, to see if we're actually going to be getting any of these figures over on the right, the purples into the grays. Boy, that's just spelling bad news in general. Alright, so let's just take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see this blue spike line right here associated with a frontal system, stretching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the Caribbean, stretching into portions of Florida and the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. We can see a tropical wave right here. Well, that's the tropical wave in general that's causing the bad weather across section of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And if we take a look again at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic, as the sun is going down, we can see the black line pushing from right to left that shows us we're losing the sunlight. First of all, we can see the spin associated with the leftovers of Raphael, and we can make out the clouds associated with the strong tropical wave. Lots of the heaviest weather right now to the south of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and we can make out the clouds associated with the frontal system as well. We can see the clouds stretching into Florida right there. Definitely some bad weather being had across section of the Bahamas and Florida as we speak. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, November 10, 2024. It was stated that parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes would have received some afternoon rainfall across sections of well, well, would have received some afternoon rainfall on Sunday, and we highlighted that it would have been especially across northern parishes. As a matter of fact, if you remember yesterday's video, we highlighted on the Doppler radar images that there would have been some rainfall that's looking to affect northern Jamaica last night, and so it did. But before we even look at that, let us refresh our memory on the parishes across Jamaica. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And as predicted last night, when we highlighted the Doppler radar images from the Cuban radar side, we showed the rainfall out to sea to the north of St. Anne, and it definitely pushed southward inland. We see the greens, we see the yellows that represent a moderate to heavy rainfall. They definitely got lashed last night across section of St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, section of St. James, and Hanover too, while section of some southern parishes were still getting in on some lingering isolated showers. Across section of St. Thomas, while I was recording, it was raining, and even across sections of St. Catherine too. And then, as the day progressed on Sunday, we saw the pattern definitely change. We didn't get in on that afternoon rainfall across most southern parishes like what we've been getting for the past week. We got more of a flip. More of the clouds were bringing rainfall to sections of northern Jamaica. We saw sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, section of St. Anne, section of St. Mary getting in on some of the action. We even saw section of northern St. Elizabeth and northern St. Andrew getting in on some of the rainfall too, for sure. As this post that was made at 4:21 p.m. highlighted and confirmed this. We can even see the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, highlighting that low level flow across the island. We can see it coming more so from the east southeast or from the southeast. We see the clouds building across St. James, Hanover, section of northern St. Elizabeth, section of northern St. Andrew, into section of eastern St. Anna and St. Mary for sure. And we even had some thunderstorms up there too. The infrared satellite images that were posted or that we're seeing here, highlighting the high cold cloud tops, the cumulonimbus clouds that we know are represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds. Not to mention the sparkling white dust that represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Definitely lashing portion of St. James and Hanover for sure today. But we can see more of the milky whitish colors that represents that we did have some clouds, but not necessarily some cumulonimbus clouds across section of northern St. Andrew, St. Anna, and St. Mary, as well as section of Trelawney today. And we can definitely confirm the rainfall that took place across northern St. Andrew. This is the Barbican camera. We know Barbican is somewhere up there in St. Andrew, and we can definitely make out when we're looking to this direction. We can make out some rainfall for sure in that direction where we see these buildings and these light posts. We usually see hills. That's what we usually see. Look at this. This is looking to that direction. We usually see hills. And this was what? 1643. That was 443. But going back to this time period now, when we're getting another rainfall, this is 534, 1734. And this was what was happening. Look at the rainfall. We don't even see the hills anymore. So it was more so across those areas. Maybe northwestern St. Andrew for sure. Getting in on most of the rainfall. Didn't get in on much activity across Crossroads or Halfway Tree when I was looking. But we can definitely see the rainfall in the upper portion of St. Andrew for sure. And we definitely have confirmation from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, confirming where we had that rainfall today. Definitely northern St. Andrew, section of St. Mary, section of St. Anne, section of Trelawney, section of St. James, section of Hanover, as well as section of northern St. Elizabeth for sure. And we definitely have confirmation of the rainfall. We have underscore Anthony dot underscore dot underscore dot underscore stating raining heavy in Hanover now. And this was posted 20 hours ago, and we were getting that night rain on, I believe that was what, Saturday night, just as we stated in our video. And then during the afternoon, we have confirmation here. Eastman underscore music setting. St. Andrew getting rain, lightning, thunder. We have Slim underscore Queen underscore one sitting. Yeah, rain just start here in Sainty. And that indeed confirms the rainfall across the island today. If we take a look at the latest still image here from the weather nerd side, so this just came out at 0025 UTC, so this just came out at 7:25 p.m. So that was what, 13 minutes ago. We can make out some thunderstorms to the north of Hanover. We can make out some milky white clouds still affecting sections of St. Anne, maybe section of Hanover as well, maybe section of western St. Elizabeth. Let us see what the latest Cuban Doppler radar images are showing. Do we have any rainfall in these milky whites? Well, we won't know because it looks like the Cuban Doppler radar has glitched out, definitely glitched out. It's showing that the latest image was as of 10:10 a.m. today, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it? Or is it actually 4:56 p.m.? Either way, definitely glitched because it should be showing 7 something p.m. now. And we don't see that. Boy, this is what we need, the Jamaican Doppler radar. But boy, it hasn't been working for the longest while. That's the problem. Boy, I don't know what's going on. Last time I spoke to Evan Thompson, he said, oh, it should be sorted out by July. But Lord knows what's happening now. I don't know what's going on. And if we go to their website and click on radar image, this is what we're seeing. We're not seeing actual Doppler radar images showing us where the rainfall is taking place now. We see a 4-day forecast, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't want to see that. I want to see the actual Doppler radar. Well, if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out some rainfall across inland areas of eastern Cuba. We don't see anything happening across Jamaica right now or across the Haitian Peninsula either. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can make out some of that rainfall actually across section of Westmount. We see the blues, we see the greens that represent some light to moderate rainfall. We also see some rainfall passing to the north of Grand Cayman as well. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Monday, temperature should be on to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Monday when calculated. That's 1 p.m. on Monday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellow colors, and we can see from the key on the right, the yellow colors are representative of at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica are about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. 88 degrees Fahrenheit is the same as 31.1 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. And do you know the drill? We have some tips here to beat the heat. Always dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Put away the sugar drinks. I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay hydrated throughout the day. Your body is made up of a huge percentage of water for a reason, so always replenish it with more water. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for this is what, 8 a.m. on, well, looks like this is some outdated image. Sunday, I don't want to see Sunday. Let's see if we can get the updated image. We're actually on the website. So we're going out at 2 p.m. on Monday. And I hope that you notice what's happening. Let's backtrack a bit. You see what's happening? As we head into Monday. We see, yes, it is pushing from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. But we see that the more it goes to the west, the more it dwindles. That's what we like to see. It's dwindling. So the more the browns go westward, the more it's dissipating That's what we want. And we see that 2 p.m. on Monday has majority of the Caribbean in the clear, North America, Central America, Northern South America in the clear. We see the vigorous plume as represented by the darker browns closer to the coast of Africa. That's what we want to see. We don't want it in the Caribbean at all to cause the very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis in some persons. Even although we know that the Saharan dust is good for choking off these systems, we'd rather not have it at all to make us sick. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that majority of the Caribbean, including Jamaica, should be getting on those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues. They represent anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1 meter wave height, as we can see by the key on the bottom right. And that's because the winds across the Caribbean should be anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe all the way up to 15 knots, as we can see by the colors, the bluish greens into the brighter shades of greens. And we definitely see that flow across the eastern Caribbean coming in from the east, heading into the Dominican Republic from the southeast. And we see that flow definitely starting to get in on that broad turning. Look at the monsoon like flow, that southwesterly flow. Guys, southwesterly flow like this is what India gets. That's monsoon like flow that causes a lot of rainfall. So it only makes sense that this tropical wave is going to be crashing into this and churning up even more rainfall. Basically, going to be stuck. We can already see the broad spin starting to take shape, like what the Hurricane Center has highlighted. So we really don't have much of a flow across this area of the basin at all. But if we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica in terms of the wind forecast for tomorrow, definitely see we have light winds for sure, 5 knots. Not gonna be strong. As a matter of fact, it's gonna make tomorrow feel even hotter than normal. But we can make out a kind of flow. The euro here showing more of an east-south easterly kind of pattern on the south coast, more of an easterly pattern on the north coast. Either way, we see that the air is going to be piling up across eastern, central, and western parishes. That's where we're going to be having the least amount of winds. That's where we're going to be having that diurnal convection, that daytime heating. The clouds are going to be piling up, bringing mid-level clouds from low-level clouds, and then maybe all the way up to cumulonimbus status up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. So maybe some thunderstorms might just take shape. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 4 a.m. on Monday. And what do we see? That both maps are showing some blues that represent rainfall across eastern Jamaica and even the waters to the south of eastern Jamaica. Maybe some rainfall could affect sections of eastern St. Thomas, maybe eastern Portland. We see the consensus at that time. Skipping ahead now to about 11 a.m. on Monday, what do we see on both maps? Some of these blues making it in some more to eastern Jamaica. We know eastern Jamaica already. Eastern Jamaica, just a refresher, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. So look out, maybe some rainfall affecting you guys by 11 a.m. Skipping ahead now to about 2 p.m. We see what's taking place. The blues represent rainfall across sections of most parishes, from the east to the central to the western portion of the island. So anywhere from St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, Clarendon, Manchester, Trelawney, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover might get in on some amount of afternoon rainfall around 2 p.m. And we see that there's no bias to any side of the island at all. It's not biased to southern Jamaica. It's not biased to northern Jamaica. Definitely all across the island, section of most parishes in general. And we see that even as we head into 5 p.m., we still have some rainfall lingering across the island for sure. So tomorrow is just the beginning of the actual rainfall from the tropical wave interacting with the broad airflow pressure. Remember, that's going to be the case for the entire week. So please ensure that you walk with your umbrella. We can even see the accumulated precipitation forecast maps confirming the rainfall. This map from the GFS and this map from the Euro both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. And we see the greens, we see the yellows, we see the oranges that represent anywhere from 0.1 all the way up to 0.75 for an inch of rainfall. Rainfall is definitely going to be plaguing somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow for sure, but we're grateful that is going to be, bringing some water in our pipes or keeping the water in our pipes. We know as soon as we head into the dry season, National Water Commission usually say, oh, water restrictions. The dams or reservoirs are running low or whatever the case may be. Guys, it's better to get more rainfall than none at all because we know when the dry season is here and we're not really getting rainfall. It's just going to be hot and depressing and dry. We don't want to dry. Let's get all the amount of water that we can get, especially to cool down the temperatures. We can see this bar graph right here showing the rainfall distribution from January to December across Kingston. At the top, in Kingston, we usually receive 50 millimeters of rainfall for November. In Montego Bay, we usually receive close to 5 inches of rainfall for November. 50 millimeters is about the same as 2 inches. Close to 5 millimeters is about the same as 125 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and they'll show you that information, and you can use this nice graphic right here to do the calculations. We know that when it comes to rainfall that is collected on the rain gauge, 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of clouds, showers and thunderstorms right here to the north of the ABC Islands, associated with a tropical wave that's definitely lashing Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands as we speak. We see a lot of rainfall also affecting sections of the Windward and the Leeward Islands too. We see some thunderstorms across Suriname, French Guyana, section of Guyana, section of Western Venezuela, so too Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of Guatemala. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images, let's get closer to the northeastern Caribbean. Let's see what's happening down there in and around the Dominican Republic. And we're going to be looking from earlier today. But first of all, this is the latest image as of 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this just came out 5 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:50 p.m. now. We can definitely make out some rainfall in the greens that represent moderate rainfall, the yellows into the oranges and reds that represent heavy rainfall. Definitely lashing the eastern coast of Dominican Republic. Lots of the weather to the south of Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Some of the weather definitely affecting sections of northern and southwestern Puerto Rico as we speak. We see some of the rainfall in and around the Leeward Islands to the north of there, to the east of Dominica, in and around Guadeloupe. If we take a look at earlier today, that was from what? About 2 p.m. We can see the heaviest of the rainfall at that time to the southwest of Puerto Rico. I mean, look at those dark greens, look at those yellows, look at those oranges. Some heavy rainfall, that's flood triggering rainfall, but luckily most of that was out to sea at that time. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out what's taking place. Some hit or miss isolated showers coming in from the east, already affecting the island of Barbados as we speak. Zooming out, we can make out some rainfall, some rain bands right here to the east of Dominica, some rain bands right here to the east of Martinique. Some of this rainfall was just affecting section of St. Lucia, section of St. Vincent as well. The Grenadines, not so much right now, but maybe later on tonight into tomorrow. We can see some rainfall across southern Grenada as we speak, and some rainfall definitely lashing portion of Trinidad and especially northeastern Trinidad and especially most of Tobago as we speak. There's definitely some more where that came from tonight into tomorrow. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images now, you can definitely see the heavy rainfall to the south of Dominican Republic on the Dominican Republic radar associated with a tropical wave. We can make out some rainfall affecting section of northeastern Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, southern Florida getting in some isolated shores. We can make out some isolated shores as well to the east of Nicaragua. Some rainfall across section of Colombia, northwestern Venezuela, Suriname and French Guyana border, getting in on some rainfall as we speak. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Monday, and we can see the greens into the yellows and the oranges. They represent anywhere from 0.1 all the way up to 0.75 for an inch of rainfall. And we can see the reds into the purples and the pinks. They represent anywhere from 1 all the way up to 4 inches of rainfall. We see the heaviest of the rainfall, or the most in the way of rainfall, should continue to affect sections of the Dominican Republic, section of Puerto Rico, Haiti, so too section of Western Panama, Costa Rica getting in on the mix, and we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with that forecast. We can also see some rainfall definitely in store for section of the Bahamas, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, sections of the Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, section of Anguilla, section of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados. We don't see any shortage of rainfall across the islands at all. We also see some rainfall definitely in store for coastal areas of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Venezuela, ABC Islands, Colombia, sections of Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula getting in some amount of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.